Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Shukesh once again, and today I have for you the all new iPhone XS Max, and I will be comparing it side by side with the OnePlus 6. Now this iPhone will cost you more than 3 times the price of this OnePlus device, but it's totally fair to compare these two phones because OnePlus 6 comes with the most powerful processor available to Android devices. The iOS version of this XS Max is 12.0, and I have also upgraded the software on the OnePlus 6, which is at Android version 9, that is Android Pie. And since Oxygen OS is based on stock version of Android, we can expect the best performance from this Android flagship. Now before I start with the apps and games, I want to quickly do a boot test. Now, though the iPhone seems faster, the shutdown process is actually going on in the background, so we cannot decide which one is the winner. Let's quickly switch on the phones and compare the turn on time. Well, definitely this 2018 iPhone is the faster in this boot test. Now let's first try the system apps, then I will launch the third-party apps as well as lots of games, and at the end of this video I will be comparing the RAM management, which will be the most interesting part, so stay tuned till the end. Now there you have the dialer, and I would say it's a draw. They were very close. Next, I want to check the browsers you have preloaded into these phones, and once again it's really very hard to tell which was faster. The Chrome browser loaded some news feed, so it may not be fair to compare these two different browsers. Next we have the galleries, and definitely this time this Apple Photos app beats the gallery application of OnePlus by few milliseconds. Next we have the cameras, and well, it's really hard to tell when exactly the cameras opened, so let's close these apps and try again handheld. Well, definitely the camera viewfinder opened quicker on the iPhone XS Max. Next, let's launch the YouTube application. Well, definitely this time OnePlus 6 is the winner. Guys, let me introduce to you the Hindi version of Gadgets Portal, that is Gadgets Portal Hindi. There you have a video on Galaxy A6 Plus, and once again OnePlus 6 was quicker by a millisecond or two, so definitely in this YouTube app OnePlus 6 beats iPhone XS Max. On this Hindi channel you can watch each and every Gadgets Portal videos in Hindi, so check that out. It's available at youtube.com/gadgetsportalhindi. Now I have some social apps. Let's start with Twitter, and once again OnePlus 6 is the winner. The iPhone is taking longer than usual. The next app we have here is Instagram, and looks like once again iPhone is losing to OnePlus 6, though they were very close. Lastly we have Facebook, and on the social apps definitely this Android phone is snappier than its competitor. Next, let's try some news apps we have Engadget, and OnePlus is much quicker than iPhone. There is also the CNET app, and let's wait for a while, and this time the iPhone XS Max is like a moment faster. Right now the score is OnePlus 6 5, iPhone XS Max 3, and 2 draws. Now before I try the games, let's quickly check these Photoshop apps. I will start with the Lightroom, and OnePlus 6 beats iPhone once again. Next there you have Photoshop Express, and this time iPhone is the winner. Next there is Photoshop Sketch. Once again iPhone XS Max beats OnePlus 6. The next Photoshop app we have is Photoshop Mix, and once again iPhone is the quicker one. Next Photoshop Fix, and once again iPhone beats OnePlus 6. So except for the network apps, that is the social apps, CNET, Engadget, and also YouTube, iPhone XS Max is basically much faster than its competitor, which is running on the latest version of Android and having the best in class hardware, and of course the RAM is more on this OnePlus 6, which I will talk about later. It's time for the most crucial part, that is the gameplay. I will start with PUBG Mobile, and let's see what happens. Well, as I expected, OnePlus 6 is not even close to the iPhone. I mean, there is not a single device on earth that can beat an iPhone in terms of gameplay, and the gaming experience might be very close, but as far as game launch time is concerned, iOS devices are unmatched. Unlike Android devices, Apple App Store games are designed, developed, and tested specifically for iPhones, so there is almost no compatibility issues and you get the smoothest user experience. Now let's try a few more games. There is Asphalt 9, another very graphics intensive game. Just as expected, the iPhone is way faster than OnePlus 6, and don't forget that OnePlus 6 is one of the fastest Android devices. It beats almost all the other competitors, but here it loses to the all-new iPhone. Now of course OnePlus 6T is on the way, so I will definitely compare or do a speed test in between 6T and XS Max, so stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe. There you have Brothers in Arms 3, and once again OnePlus loses to this year's iPhone. Let's quickly launch the rest of the games before I talk about the RAM management. There you have 6 guns, and as expected, iPhone is the winner, OnePlus loses. Next there is Temple Run 2. Once again iPhone is faster by few milliseconds. Now let's try Subway Surfers, and as you can see the app response time on the OnePlus 6 is kind of long. That's why it's taking some time to even launch the game. To my experience, this happens when the RAM is running low. To make space for a new game or application, the phone has to kick out another game or app, so that's why it's slower to respond. There you have Pokemon Go, and this time looks like OnePlus 6 is ahead of iPhone, so this might be the only case where this Android phone can beat this iOS device. Well, OnePlus is stuck and iPhone is ready, so in this speed test, definitely OnePlus 6 does not even have a chance against this year's iPhone XS Max. So it's not all about the processor or the RAM, it's about how the phone or the OS handles the apps and games. I might sound like an Apple fanboy, but I'm not into iOS that much because of the closed ecosystem, but I have to admit the user experience on iOS is much more smoother than any Android smartphone, no matter how powerful that is or how much RAM you have. As I mentioned before, I have the 6GB RAM variant of OnePlus 6, and iPhone XS Max feature 4GB of RAM, but it's all about the RAM management, so let's try to relaunch the apps and games and compare the RAM management. Let's start with the browser, and there is no issues, both phones have it in the RAM. Next we have the galleries, and as you can see there was a blank screen on the OnePlus 6, it may have reloaded. Now we have the YouTube app, let's see what happens. Once again there was a blank screen on OnePlus 6, but it has managed to open the YouTube video I was watching. Let me now reopen Instagram, and once again there was this blank screen on OnePlus. Of course it did not reload, it was still in the RAM, but the blank screen is actually quite annoying. Next we have the CNET app, and once again the same thing happened. It's Photoshop Sketch, and well, for some reason the app closed on the OnePlus and it seems like the application crashed and closed. It's now reloading, so once again I think this is due to the lack of RAM or the poor RAM management of OnePlus, which I discussed about on my previous videos. I want to check another Photoshop app before I check the games. There you have the blank screen on OnePlus 6, though it was still running in the background. Now I want to try the games, and I will start with PUBG Mobile, which is a very graphics and RAM demanding game. Well, I think this game also crashed on OnePlus 6. It has been removed from the RAM to make space for the new games. That's why it's crashing, and it has started from the beginning, so you cannot restart from where you left off. your gaming progress is gone. So despite having 6GB of RAM, the RAM management of OnePlus 6 is not as good. In fact, Galaxy Note 9 offers much better RAM management. I will compare Note 9 and iPhone XS Max very soon. So don't forget to subscribe and keep in touch. There you have Asphalt 9, which also restarted on the OnePlus. So that's the beauty of iOS. Despite having 4GB RAM, it can manage all these apps and games without even slowing down a little bit. In fact, iPhone X with 3GB RAM offers excellent RAM management capability. Now there is Subway Surfers, and for smaller games, OnePlus does not have any issues. Minion Rush is also ready on both phones. So the all-new iPhone XS Max is the perfect phone you can go for. Of course, it's too damn pricey. I mean, 1,10,000 rupees for a smartphone does not make any sense, but still it offers the best hardware and software, not only on paper but also in real life. OnePlus 6, of course, for the price is a great phone to buy, but if you think OnePlus 6 is as good as an iPhone XS Max having 1/3 the price tag, then you are definitely wrong. This new iPhone XS Max is the perfect phone. Too bad it's too pricey. I mean, it should be about 70 or 80,000 rupees max. But again, if money is not an issue for you, then definitely go for this all new iPhone XS Max. I will compare this smartphone with the Galaxy Note 9, which is the main competitor in terms of performance and price. Check the description below for the link of the comparison. That's all I have for you today. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and keep in touch.